defendant drove so recklessly over the bumpy canyon roads that his truck turned over into a pond, and she was lucky to have escaped at all. She's suing for $950 for medical expenses. This is the defendant, Todd. He says that when he hit water on the dark road, the truck turned over, but no one was hurt. Bottom line, the intoxicated plaintiff insisted on sitting on the center console, even though there was no seat belt. He's accused of rough riding. What you are witnessing is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in a California municipal court. Both parties have agreed to dismiss their court cases and have their dispute settled here in our forum, the People's Court.
Hello, I'm Doug Llewellyn, and welcome to the People's Court. This is the case of Mr. Todd's wild ride. Now, the plaintiff contends that if she had been forewarned about the dangers of off-roading, she would never have gone. The defendant says that everyone knows how crazy he is off-roading, and he feels the plaintiff joined in at her very own risk. So let's find out if the defendant's liable for the plaintiff's injuries now, as the litigants tell their stories to Judge Walker.
I know you've all been sworn. I have read your complaint, ma'am. You claim you were injured in an off-road accident driving with the defendant?
Correct.
When did this happen?
It happened a year ago, back in February.
February what?
22nd.
22nd?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What kind of a vehicle was he driving?
It was a two-seat Toyota
A
truck.
what?
A two-seater Toyota truck.
Two-seater?
Mm-hmm.
How many of you were in the truck?
3 of us.
Where were you sitting?
I was sitting on the center console between the driver and the passenger.
Okay, did you have a seatbelt on? Had you ever been off-road driving before?
No.
How long had you known the defendant?
I guess a year. About a year back
It's a
then.
question mark. I can't answer it.
Yeah,
I'm
about a year
asking
back
you
then.
to give me a definitive answer.
About a year.
You knew him a year. Did he have a reputation for driving? Did you know of it?
No. Mm-mm.
Pardon?
No.
No. What time of night, day or night was it?
It was probably around 8:30.
Standing on my head?
Who suggested going off-road racing or riding?
I believe it was between them and my husband.
Who's them?
Todd and
Todd and-
Bob. Todd and Bob, all the guys that were there with us. Some of the
Where
witnesses.
were you? Where were you when you decided to go
Gates in.
off-road? Pardon?
Come watch Dad!
I was at my house.
Where do you live?
I lived in Anaheim on Crescent.
I don't want to know your address or your street. I'm not interested. I'm just talking about the area. And where do you go riding from?
In the canyons, Chirico Canyon.
That's where we went that night. But I'm not familiar with it.
What did you think you were going to do out there?
You mean out in Chirico Canyon?
Yes.
Well, there's like trails that you can follow going around the canyon. And they're roads. And it takes you like up and then you go down and then you exit out the canyon. From what I understood. I've never been there before. That's my first
How
time.
fast were you driving?
How fast was Todd driving?
Yes, he was driving.
Right.
How fast was he doing?
Well, right before we crashed, before we rolled, the last that I saw on his speedometer was 45. And we hit this bump in the road, and we flew up in the air, and when we came back down, that was when I think we all knew the truck was going to roll, because it went off the side of a...
Truck
like,
rolled, turned over?
It rolled off the side of a mountain.
Okay. Were you hurt?
Yeah, I was hurt.
What hurt?
I hurt my neck, my wrist, I had bruises.
Well,
I was
other
in
than-
shock.
other